Oh, it worked out. It actually spawned behind the thing. And okay, no soul. Oh well. Alright, I'm getting out of here. But yeah, that's not the reason why I'm what I want to talk about. I just thought that I would use the opportunity while I was camping there, see if a box spawns, but then it did. There's nothing in it. So yeah, launch read is awful. I've been trying to get the thing all the time that I was playing, and I took a break and then I came back and I go for it because I'm trying to get it, but so far no luck. And otherwise I'm not playing any PvP, so yeah. Yeah, no soul. Maybe one day. If I had the soul here, then I would go Oblivion Isle, because I'm also missing this adventure. So, yeah. I wanted to talk about something else today, but, I've seen yet another post about, red players or red supports or red alts or whatever. In red supports, in that, specific situation. And obviously, to an extent, I absolutely understand it. That there are people playing other, like playing alternate rosters to then funnel the gold towards their like main roster or main character, so to speak. Like totally, I can get that. And as we can see today. Okay, obviously this doesn't add up because I'm at sea. I should be fine once I go home. I managed to put the score a little bit up because I maxed out the Transcendence with the flowers. But yeah, generally the combat power is supposed to be the metric for whether a character is appropriately geared or appropriately prepared for the content in their bracket. And obviously there are people who have higher, who have
You're
lower.
back. I was waiting
and
for you.
as for myself,
that need
and
your
like why I
approval.
kind of feel
You can go check them in the
included
office.
in that situation, because I obviously this is my main, and I was returning after a break. It's like obviously it's not the same as if I was playing the whole time, but different people have different definitions of what it means to be, well, red. And some people say okay, you should have all the relic engravings maxed, because maxing them out is the same cost as just one singular book for the DPS. And again, I do not disagree with that statement. Like obviously the max MP is especially cheap compared to even all these other ones. Like obviously, like if you compare it to a grudge, right, then you have to admit that from a price of like a grudge or adrenaline even, you should be able to max out all the support stuff. But at the same time, there's a situation where you like isolate singular things and say like, okay, this is just only this much gold, and that's not that much gold. And I agree for the most part, right? Like people when you're talking about how about like a high mid tier supposed to be, and obviously if I even think about it a bit harder, it's probably not a great idea to grab this. I grabbed this for like I don't know, 10, because I thought, foolishly I suppose, I thought that I should probably look for something that has multiple usable stats compared to just brand power to the max, like 8% brand power and nothing else. because like those are like what 30-ish, right? And like, okay, yeah, sure, that's, you know, that's fine. But then if I go into like brand power 8% and then something else that is like usable, then obviously that goes, you know, further up. If I like, you know, brand power and the other usable stat at like mid, then obviously that it goes up much higher, that kind of stuff. And at this point, I'm not entirely sure, you know, even though I know to a certain extent, I know, you know, the priorities and what is important on a piece. I mean, I don't necessarily know that if I should just, you know, pick one, have it on the highest one, and then nothing else matters. And if that is better than, you know, trying to have multiple usable stats on it. So yeah, that's one part. Obviously, karma, like, oh, level your karma. Yeah, I need the Destiny Stones, and I need to run, you know, content to get the Destiny Stones. Like, obviously, it's like an overtime stuff. Like, I would love to, you know, just click the button and upgrade it. But first of all, obviously, not much gold there, and also that's like, you know, a longer term goal, I suppose. But yeah, my point is that, you know, I feel somewhat included in it, even though it is not, you know, necessarily referring to me. It refers more to, like, you know, people who have characters that they just don't bother to gear properly, and then they expect other people to put up the slack. And obviously that is not a great thing to do, obviously. But at the same time, there is also like some level of, you know, policing each other, to the extent of I went through this, you know, rough, you know, gameplay, or a rough grind, or rough investment, and that I expect everyone else to do the same, even if it doesn't entirely makes sense in their own, you know, gameplay context. Like upgrading a piece of gear with a certain, you know, high stat, but it's like, you know, important, but there's also the other holes. I don't know. But obviously, it's entirely possible, right? Like in many ways, I'm just, you know, playing wrong, and they're just, you know, getting like the 8% brand effectiveness is just more important than, you know, doing all of these other types of things, and I would be better off. And that is something that I will, you know, probably learn as I go ahead and go along. But there's another aspect that I wanted to, you know, mention, is that we have, with the events, we have these chests here, and like obviously this one is, even like the timer is not, you know, pressing, but still having these boxes kind of means that there's like an extra, you know, incentive to push your resources into pushing item level, even to the detriment of you know, building up your horizontal progression, all these, you know, systems. But for sure, with the event, like, these things are, you know, a lot easier. Like it was very painless to do the Transcendence, for example, because the gold cost itself is not bad at all. Obviously, it's due to the ketchup mechanic. I'm pretty sure that people just blew a bunch of gold trying to get the Transcendence, which we kind of get for almost free with the event, and or as, like, you know, returning, because it just automatically boosted all your stuff to 5, so you could get, you know, the 15 bonus and everything, and then even getting the rest of it, the ruins restoration tickets, we got a bunch of for free. So, you know, I could just, it was only the gold cost that would have to be spent to get those. So I got that. And yeah, like I totally understand, like, you know, the combat power stuff. But at the same time, there are things that are, like, you know, gated by, you know, time and just playing the game. Just the karma. Like these ones, I don't really know what else to do with that, you know. So yeah, like for example, yeah, that's it. I push the evolution up bunch, right? And then I get a bunch of extra HP. Obviously that's gonna boost my power a lot. Because, you know, the shield and stuff is based on HP. So yes, other thing that I was thinking about is the cards. Because we got the Lost Twin Cliff for free, the 30, and then the other one as well. But I've seen that, you know, newer content has, you know, some different card angles and card sets, card considerations, and I've seen that there is you have a plan that supposedly useful as support, and obviously that is pretty much trivial compared to what the DPS has to go through, because, you know, especially this way, because Carmine and the lane armament is already done. Obviously CN is done for me, but like, you know, be sure everyone just has it maxed, because you get it from vendoring merchant. So obviously this one I can max out, this one I can max out, and like these two, like Jericho is, you know, Fatal Merchant sometimes, and Cross is Artatine. So it's pretty painless in comparison. Although I mean I check the merchants all the time, and still, you know, missing a few from either of them. I don't really have much selections. There's like two selection packs here, and there's one here, and there's 6. So like actually I probably could do it. Probably just do it and complete the set. But I don't know how important that is, or even if I, you know, even if I should, you know, equip it. Because there's all sorts of information and calculations of whether or not this set is worth it if you have this or that, or if the DPS has this one, or if they have Light of Salvation, or if they have the other Strong Earths something. You know, the elemental versions, and there's also the consideration of, you know, having to, you know, swap around the decks. Although you could, you know, unlock these pretty easily. These are, I think these two are gold, and the crystals only come from here. So that one could be, you know, easily done. Like if I knew for sure that that would be worth it, then I might do it. But at the same time, now that, you know, basically everyone has either from event or they already had it from, you know, gameplay, they have a Light of Salvation and Lost Twin Cliff, and don't necessarily see the reason to bother with it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I was, you know, I wanted to do a bit. Obviously, I'm still sick, so I'm pretty sure that's very audible in my voice and all that. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm like out of curiosity, I'm checking here, you know, just to see what am I dealing with. You know, what are the boards doing? Combat power, yeah, like this combat power is pretty much, you know, comparable. Mine, about the same. So yeah, I'm just comparing here. Okay, I mean that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good one, no? Mine is pretty bad. That was probably a waste of money. So yeah. Yeah, I'm still, you know, figuring out, or in the process of figuring out what is worth it and what isn't. You know, buying that wise and whatnot. I'm just, you know, looking around, checking what people have. I mean, that's pretty neat, for sure. And I guess it's just so good that you don't really. Also, another thing, I don't know the additional damage. Just, for example, if it just happens to be there, the additional damage. Yeah, or if, you know, if it matters, because like, as far as I know here, the brand power is the important part, and the meter gain is what's important, and the additional damage probably doesn't add to the buffs. dull. But maybe I'm wrong. That's the thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure about it. So that's that. Yeah, the ally attack power enhancement. Nice. As far as I know, the other one is a bit better. But obviously, I think if you compare it, like one on high and the other one on low, then probably because I think the damage, ally damage, is a lot more expensive. So yeah, like this huge difference in HP most likely comes from here. What kind of annoys me, like I don't really see the effect, right? Like I can see all the arc passive effect on other people, but I can't, you can't see the karma bonuses. Like I see the rank 6 and level 21, but so I should just check it outside resources, like max roll or that kind of stuff. Probably check those. But yeah, I'm still in the combat power comparing stage instead of going in and playing the game. But eventually I'll get myself together. Obviously here the 5000 is pretty nice. So a brand power there. I wish you could see it. I wish you could see, like, okay, I buy this. How much would my combat power change? Because if I could see it, then obviously that would inform my gear buying. Situation. Damn. Great resistance. Reduction. Power stack. With light damage enhancement effect 9%. That looks like a pretty nice bracelet. So yeah, I mean it makes sense that like 5000. But obviously you also get HP from these. But it's pretty interesting. Like this is like 300 HP, but the other one that I was looking at, they had what? Not this one. Maybe here. Oh, that's gone. Anyway, there's the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. But here you kind of have to compare. One, to see what you can improve on, but also to see what is your basic competition. And what I will close this one off is that I am kind of hoping that maybe one day eventually it comes back when supports are not as prevalent, or like maybe when I feel more necessary or more needed. Like obviously at the moment it's a support surplus, which obviously makes the requirements and the competition harder. But I mean that's not generally something that I would need to worry about as a support main. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that I would be maybe better off if I have had multiple supports. Then I could max out the books, and then I wouldn't have to worry about other stuff. But at the same time, I kind of want to just have different classes, because that's the whole point, that I get to experience all the other classes. So at the moment, I'm set. Obviously, Paladin is my main guy. Zork, I did hone it a little bit to 1600, and then I guess slowly push it a bit up to like what is 1610, 1620. 1620 I think is the break point there. I don't know. That's nice. I'm still doing Rowan with this one. This one I don't hate the Berserker or anything. It's just lower level. This one I honed a bit. while it still costs silver, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it so far. Maybe there's like, you know, stuff that's missing that might make me feel it a bit more. At this moment with what it has, not feeling it. And this one is just, you know, rough. Rough. At the same time, you don't necessarily want to, you know, get rid of it either. I don't know. It's rough. It's rough. I don't really know if there's like something else that I would want to do or want to play with. But sometimes I'm a bit envious of, you know, people who just have like what, 6 paladins or 12 or 18 or I don't know how many slots you can get. They just have a bunch of paladins or a bunch of supports or a bunch of same thing there. You can, you know, cover all the books and then you can just share it between all of them. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna stick around, then I will probably just, you know, slowly but surely, you know, get some levels into the books here and there. At the moment, they are just, you know, quite expensive. And like I said, that is the incentive of the boxes. You know, kind of wanna get there and open them. Like for example, even the progression that I was talking about, right? Like I don't even need to worry about that because I just, you know, if I get the box, there's the karma in there, so I don't have to run anything. I can just run. I can just unlock the karma here, and then I can just have a bunch of stones. Although 6 is not that much, like I would still have to run it. But I think on the next level there's still more. There's another 100 here and 50. It's like here, that might be an aspect that is a bit overlooked. That there is, you know, this incentive to push item level over the other systems. But yeah, I'm sure there are a bunch of people who just really just don't wanna invest into their supports. But yeah, I'm not gonna say it's not, you know, justified. Be annoyed by people who don't pull their own weights, but at the same time, it makes me like the hostility makes me feel a bit more worried about joining group play. So yeah, that's it. All right, bye bye.